So if you take a rooted vegetable such as a sweet potato, a parsnip, turnips, or even beets, you can roast them together for a hearty, nutritious, delicious side dish or even main dish if you wish. So today our focus vegetable is going to be the beet. The beet is a beautiful red, rich, nutritious root vegetable that a lot of people say, oh, I haven't had that before. I don't know what to do with it. But what if it tastes like dirt? No, none of those. This is very easy to work with. It is very easy to prepare, to clean, with a high amount of nutrients in regards to heart health. It actually scrubs your liver. It's a beautiful vegetable, so let's get into it. So when we're dealing with this vegetable, this green at the end is the best part actually, because you save it for a salad. It's packed full of a whole other set of nutrients beyond the beet. And remember, we're practicing let's not waste, so you can just cut them off right there. Put these off to the side and save them for your side salad for the dinner to go along with the root vegetable. So when you're dealing with this, you want to make sure you purchase a beet that is medium in size. The bigger ones have a bit more bitter taste and a little bit tougher, and then you want them to still have the green on them. That gives the signal of freshness. And notice when the greens were cut off, they're not all brown and wrinkled. They're nice and fresh looking. So when you want to do this, I'm going to cut the rest of the greens off of here, and then I'm going to show you how to quickly wash them. Because they look dirty, but they're really not. That's just their coloration. So let's take that off and come over here to the sink. So with some cold water, you're going to, if you have a vegetable brush, that's great, but you don't have to use one. Take your thumb, rub it into circular motions to knock off any of that dirt. I put it in a colander while it's sitting there so I don't drip water everywhere. And now just take your thumb and just kind of rotate it around. If you do not have a vegetable brush. All right. And now you have some beautiful, clean beets. But notice they kind of still look dirty, but they're not. They're fine. Come over here. Now, I'm going to prep the beets first for this roasted root vegetable, because in this recipe we're going to have some beets, some carrots, a parsnip, which is probably a new vegetable to you. It's another root vegetable similar to the carrot with a very unique sweet flavor. Then we have a turnip that I just wanted to show you. A turnip is another root vegetable that has a purple up top and then white on the bottom. It is also a delicious root vegetable that you could put into this recipe. We're also going to be using a sweet potato with some onion. And doing this, one of the key things that you have to remember with the beet, you do not have to peel it. When you're roasting it, you roast it with the skin on, and it adds an additional base nutrients to it. So you want to first just cut the tail off, that extra root. Now, I highly suggest when you're doing beet to be careful. It does stain. Use a board that's not, like you're not afraid that's going to get stains on it. It does, if you wash it on in the quickness, it won't stain. But if you leave it overnight and not wash it off, you could have stainage on your counter, on your board. You're just going to want to cube it when you're cutting your beets. That makes a perfect bite-sized shape that you'll want all of your vegetables to be cut in size. So let's finish cutting up this one and get the remainder cut up. Now, one of the most wonderful things about the beets is that red, sweet taste that it has. That red sweetness is a great indicator of heart health. It is also high in fiber, which keeps you full longer, which helps your blood sugar. In addition, one of the best benefits that you have with a beet is the fact that it has that magnesium. Magnesium gives you energy, and it's essential in your diet. It also has your B vitamins, that complex that stops your fatigue. It is one of those with manganese and potassium. And potassium, again, is that fluid balance that you need in your blood to combat the salts in our diet. So beets are one of those like you'll hear people call them superfoods. They have so many great benefits to them. We can go on to the other root vegetables. Here we have a sweet potato. I started peeling it. We want to get that skin off. Remember to peel away from yourself to save your fingers. I'm going to show you what can happen. You drag it and it could be a problem. Continue with the peel, getting the skin off. Now the next one is the parsnip. The parsnip has this outside peel just like a carrot, so you want to take that off. Again, peeling away from you. And then the next ingredient is the carrot. Now, the one great thing about a roasted root vegetable meal is the amount of fiber that you're putting into that dish that will help keep you full longer. It helps regulate your blood pressures also. So let's put that over here and get our onion ready. So when you're cutting the parsnip, it's really dense at the top. So just remove that dense portion. Cut in, like I like to cut at an angle. It makes the bite size a little bit more palatable and a little bit more unique in its cooking. So you want to give it an angle cut. All right. Turn it this way since we're getting to the thicker. And as I get into the thicker, notice my slices are just a little bit smaller. All right. I'm going to cut that in half so that's usable. Now, do our slices have to be perfect and beautiful? No. We're not in culinary school. We're cooking for a family. So, does it have to be the most beautiful? No. But bite size? Yes. Cookable? Yes. All right, so let's get that in with our beets. Next is a carrot. Just give the carrot a chop into bite-sized pieces. That was a beautiful carrot. Now, do you notice how colorful I'm getting so far? That's very, very important. Now, sweet potatoes, they can be a really hard root vegetable, and they take a little oomph when you're cutting them. So again, like we did with the cauliflowers and the cabbages, you want to get a point start. Grab it from between, get a point start, take it down into the potato. Now that we have it that size, cut it in half. And then notice how If you just rock your knife as you're cutting through it, it goes through like butter. So we'll add the sweet potato in there. Now, you want to add a little bit of onion into this. It gives it a nice flavoring. So I'm only going to put half an onion into this recipe. Now, this recipe feeds up to 4 if you cook it completely using more than, like right now I have about 2 to 3 cups of vegetables. The recipe actually calls for 4 cups. Again, when we're cooking, you get to play with it. Cooking, the fun part about cooking is once you get some skills, you can actually learn to just make it yours and not be afraid to make it yours. Peel that outside off. Now in this recipe, we don't want to fine chop. We don't want it fine. We kind of want it on the chunky end due to the other vegetables being on the chunky end also. So notice my cuts were a little bit larger than previous when I was dealing with an onion. And we'll add that into. So now I have a very colorful root vegetable mixture with some with some oranges, with that vitamin A, and that red, with that potassium and magnesium that's essential for heart health and cleaning our liver and our blood pressure. A little bit of white in there also with the parsnip, which is that great for cancer prevention and lowering our cholesterol. Whoo, that onion's starting to make me cry. Woo. All right. So now what you want to do is add oil and your Parmesan cheese. 3 tablespoons worth of Parmesan cheese. Sprinkle that on there. And then we want a 1/4 cup of oil. Yes, olive oil is your best choice as a fat because it is completely digested by the human body, while canola oils and vegetable oils are not. So it is the wiser choice of cooking. So we need a 1/4 cup. Pour that in there. And I'm just going to use my knife, give a good old stir. Incorporating all that oil and all that Parmesan cheese onto the root vegetables. Give it a nice coating, because once we roast these, it's going to give a nice little outside crust with that cheese and that oil. Notice again, I didn't use any salt. Remember, we're reducing our salt. So let's like that there. Move this over. And on a baking sheet, just get it on there in an even pattern. Get all those goodies out of there because you want all the goodies. Spread it around. All right. And there you have a very colorful, nutritious, high fiber, great way to keep your hunger under control and your blood pressure under control and not spiking your sugars. So let's put this in. This is at 350 for an hour. Look at that beautiful coloration. Just the right amount of brown in there. Not too overdone, but with a nice little crisp to it. So let's take her. And notice with just the right amount, oil and flavoring. It's coming right off your dish. Alright, so there you have it, guys. A beautiful, colorful root vegetable dish that can be used as a meal or even as a side dish. You're looking at great vitamins. You've got the blood control with the root vegetable and your blood pressure. You've got some vitamin A with your sweet potatoes and the carrots and those great cancer preventing antioxidants all within this one dish. Delicious. Got to give it a try.